Hey, we got Dominic here, the 19-year-old electrician that joined up. How long has it been down now, Dom?
We are looking at 3.5 weeks. No, 3.5 months, sorry.
3.5 months. He secured his first property in within a month, and then made around 8,800 to $9,000 in pure profit straight after all the fees and everything. Um, Within his first month of operating. So after he secured his property, and then yeah, he went to Vietnam, but we'll get into that later. But firstly, Dom, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. What was your situation before working with us? What were you doing?
Yeah, so before working with you boys, I was working as an electrical apprentice, and I still currently am as a 9 to 5. And then one day I came across your little TikTok, and I was like, why not? Let's hop on. And that's a little bit
Awesome,
about
man.
me.
Love it, love it, love it. So young, entrepreneurial spirit, hard worker. That's exactly what I told you on our phone call at the start. What I believe this business model is for. It's for people that are good with their hands, that want a lifestyle outside of kind of being on a laptop with all those courses and those online business models that you see. But where were you kind of revenue wise before joining us? How much were you making at your job?
Working as a first year apprentice, I was looking at around 600 after tax per week, which is pretty low. But that being said, I'm on apprentice wages, so it's better than nothing at the end of the day.
For sure, for sure. And where are you now in terms of revenue?
Where am I now? After hopping on the course with you boys, I'm sitting at around 1.5 per week, which is very
Awesome.
nice.
Really good to hear with one property as well, 19 years old. Great stuff. And what have you tried before in terms of businesses or anything aside from your primary income?
Yeah, so in the past, I have had a shot at e-commerce and found that I didn't like it because I was sitting behind a computer all day and you didn't get to talk to people, so it's not that interesting. You're kind of working by yourself. That being said, I also did try just flipping stuff from Facebook Marketplace, but then at the end of the day, it's not very, you have to do that 24/7 to be making money, and I can't do that alongside with working a full-time job.
Exactly. So I guess you could say it's not really scalable in the sense that you have to be present and that you can't be
Definitely.
generating money passively in a way. Do you think that's different? I guess now with the Airbnb side of things.
Yeah, 100%. So after you get your property all set up, it's all really automated. So I can work a 9 to 5 and not really have to stress about having to look after the property at all because I've set systems in place where it's all automated.
For sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's what we tell kind of all our students and everything. Where we've been in this game for a while, and collectively with 40 properties, um, it only makes sense that we have, I guess, figured out to a degree of the systems and automations and processes to be able to be quite hands off. So that's exactly what we've implemented for you, I guess, and all of our students, which is very good to hear. Everyone's working 9 to 5 as well. I started when I was working 9 to 5. So that is great. Um, and what attracted you to our program, would you say?
Look, definitely because you boys were in Australia, young, and had the same mentality as me, right? Try to escape the 9 to 5, but in doing that, you can also do this while working a 9 to 5. So it works out perfectly. Um, yeah, but the main reason was because you boys are from Australia, especially Melbourne, my city, growing up. So that's even
Awesome.
better.
Awesome. And I guess, did you ever look into Airbnb in the past at all, or not really? I don't think I've asked you this before.
Look, in the past, I've only used Airbnb to actually use for accommodation. So I didn't know that you could actually run a business from this. And I was like,
Awesome.
look, it's a good opportunity, so why not?
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone has a sense of how lucrative it can be just because everyone's used the platform and everyone's paid the prices and you know how expensive it can be. But yeah, that's really cool, man. Um, and I guess, what was the reason you almost didn't work with us?
The reason I almost didn't work with you boys was that lump sum deposit at the very beginning. But then that being said, if you're listening to this, guys, I recommend just paying the lump sum because in the long run, you're going to be making that back within the first 2 months.
Yeah, in your experience for sure. Um,
Yes.
I'd like to preface that Dominic got a very lucrative booking, and we're not saying that you won't get it or you will get it, but we obviously do position you in the best possible chance to be able to secure these bookings and manage these bookings. But that's great to hear. Um, that's really good. And in terms of that, because I believe when just before you joined, we were talking on the phone and we were really talking about um, the mindset shift and just the difference between people that say they want to become business owners and the ones that actually become business owners. And I definitely credit you to your um, kind of your mental maturity at 19 to be able to invest in yourself and take that leap of faith and take action. Um, and inaction is one of the things that you know, the mentors and founders believe holds people back from achieving their dreams. Would you kind of agree with that?
That most definitely. Obviously, being 19, which is still pretty young, still in the teenage age, uh, a lot of people don't want to take risk. But nowadays, with housing crisis and money not being so easy to obtain, you just got to take the risk, which is always the hardest step. But you kind of just have to hop on and see where it goes. If you fail, you always learn from your mistakes. So, yeah.
And what were your biggest concerns with the business model at first glance or when you first really kind of understood what Airbnb arbitrage was?
Yeah, so coming to this business model, I did know that it's a hospitality type business model. So obviously a big concern was not getting booked out. But with your boys' course, you guys made it very clear how to be booked out, which is crazy, especially since someone else is having to physically book for you to make money.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess what we did and what we do with all of our students is we um, get you guys to send in listings, get our advice, just because you know we know so much about the market and whatnot, and really failing in a lot of deals and learning from our mistakes. Um, and then, did you have any other kind of concerns going into it at the start?
Another concern I did have was obviously I work 9 to 5 as a 19-year-old, so I can't be really managing anything else at the moment. But then you boys have set systems and automations in place where I physically don't even have to be in the apartment or see the apartment for months on end. So, in saying that, it just integrated with my lifestyle very easily because I don't have to be there at all.
What was kind of the next thing that was notable in your journey in how we helped you?
Yeah, so definitely when it came to looking for properties, I was very overwhelmed because there's just so many listings. But then the properties that I did chose, I sent over to you guys so you guys could help me out to see if it was very profitable or not. You helped me analyze the building, the layout, and the experience that guests would actually have with the building in general.
Awesome, awesome. Um, and then I guess another step or kind of moving forward through your journey after kind of that first step, how else did we help you?
Yeah, so further down the track, obviously I still work, like I said, I work the 9 to 5. So obviously putting through automations into the business is key. So that's what makes this business model so fantastic because it becomes hands off. In doing that, you guys help me integrate a pricing strategy using a dynamic pricing tool, which is excellent because then I don't have to worry about pricing and having to change it 24/7 for guests to use. Um, Otherwise, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And then I think early on in your journey, I think we were struggling a little bit with getting some of the bookings, and then um, we had a private call, and then we kind of optimized your listings on other platforms and did some listing optimization. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's correct. So in the very beginning, although I did get that first booking within the first 3 hours of listing the property, but I found that I wasn't actually maximizing uh, to the broad audience because obviously Airbnb, a lot of people know about it, but a lot of people still use Booking.com. Therefore, after having a cafe meeting with you personally, Stanley, I was able to expand my listing over to Booking.com and instantly got a booking the next day, which was great. In saying that, you guys also helped me with getting longer bookings, especially in the winter season. Longer bookings are key because not many people are traveling over to Melbourne. And in getting longer bookings, you guys are maximizing longer stays essentially.
Awesome,
So, which is excellent.
awesome, awesome. And I guess something very exciting was that 8,800 or $9,000 in profit that you made over 55 or 53 nights, I think. Um, but can you talk about the process of that situation and how we prepared you, and then what it allowed you to do, I guess?
Yeah, so getting that long booking was absolutely insane. Seeing the statistics on how much money that I'd be making out from all that. Obviously, I had so many questions because it was my first ever long booking, but everything that you guys helped me with was actually setting up the apartment in a way where I don't have to fully be there. Like I
Yeah,
said, obviously, it's hard with longer bookings because after my cleaners come in, they only leave a few
yeah.
amenities. So I had to think forward and talk to the guests beforehand and see what would make their life easier, ultimately making my life easier in the
Awesome,
future.
awesome. And then I guess in us helping you cater to this specific booking, you were able to go on holiday. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I actually ended up traveling to Vietnam for 3 weeks due to how excited I was about this long booking and how profitable this business
Yeah. So
was.
you were able to go for a 3 week holiday while one of your properties was making you passive income, and
That's
then
correct.
three weeks, I guess. In that 3 weeks, if you break down that 8K, so it's about 2 months. Um, so
Yeah.
that's almost like, I guess, around, my math's not too good, but around $3,000 during that time you were overseas.
Yeah, so if you I could in reality go for a holiday for 2 months and be all okay because rent's been paid, so and I'm making money.
Awesome,
So it's crazy,
awesome,
this business
awesome. Love
model.
to hear it. Love to hear it. Um, and then kind of what stopped you from doing this by yourself, or maybe having that mindset of thinking maybe I'm going to try to do this myself? Like what kind of propelled you or pushed you to um, kind of seek guidance and mentorship?
Yeah, so I chose to work with you boys was obviously time is money, right? So the faster you can expand your knowledge, the faster you make money,
Love that, love
I
that, love
believe.
that, love that.
Um, and so being 19 and working a full-time job, it's kind as an apprentice tradie, you really don't want to be working anymore after a full day's work, right? So in buying this course or working with you boys specifically, it helped fast track my knowledge into making money, which ultimately leading me returning on my investment
Yeah,
quite
awesome,
well.
awesome. Love that, love that. Definitely love working with all of our students because I feel like they adopt the same mindset as you, where a lot of entrepreneurs and successful business people have invested a lot of money into the most important asset, which is themselves. And education and being able to invest in yourself and your knowledge to propel you in business or life is honestly, to a degree, priceless. But that's why, you know, a lot of respect to Dominic. A lot of 19-year-olds that are so young, it's hard for them to have that mindset shift, which only occurred for me when I was in the depths of my early to mid 20s, where I really started panicking about my situation and needed to change. So I can only imagine if I started at your age, man, at 19. I got my first property at
Yeah,
23, and you got your
definitely.
first property at 19. So, um, yeah, it's gonna be a crazy journey for you, man. Like once you get your first property, your second one, third one, fourth one, it compounds, and you're gonna get a bigger portfolio in a much quicker time. So that's awesome. And you're also looking to scale at the moment. You're looking for some more deals.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for another four by the end of the year. So I have a lot of work on
That's a
my
big
hands, but
goal.
that just makes you work
Love
harder.
that.
So if you're eager to do what I'm doing, I definitely recommend you guys hopping on straight away because you guys are just wasting your time otherwise.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, I guess to um, close off this interview. Is it an interview? I think it's an interview. But if someone's on the fence, what would you tell them? What would you tell them?
If someone was on the
Like they were
fence,
very close.
so if you're, yeah, definitely. So if someone's very close to starting the course but is still iffy about it because the price or something, I definitely think you should hop on, especially if you're older than me. You definitely have the money because if I had the money at 19, I didn't come from a spoiled family. I'm telling you, I worked hard, hard. So if you're older than me, I definitely recommend hopping on straight away. If you're younger than me, I'm sure you guys can hustle in other ways, like doing Facebook flips and all that, just to get the money. But yeah, I definitely recommend this course to everyone and anyone because at the end of the day, time is money,
Awesome,
right?
awesome. And I guess final question: what do you think about myself, Jordan, and Terence in terms of mentors or people at the end of the day?
Yeah, so I'd like to clarify that my main mentor is
Yes.
Stanley. Stanley's great, but in saying that, Jordan and Terence is definitely other mentors that you should reach out to because everyone has their pros and cons in different areas. So the more at the end of the day, the more you network with, the better results you'll get.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Dominic. I'm very excited to see how your journey pans out. Obviously, you've seen some crazy success, and I think you're loving the business model. It's kind of nice. You're feeling fulfilled, and it's really cool, I guess. Um, but also, I know I said last question a couple of times, but this is the absolute last one. What's your favorite part of running an Airbnb business in terms of how it makes you feel, or I guess if it's not a feeling, then um, why you would prefer it over some other businesses?
yeah. So why I'd prefer this business over other businesses and why I like it because you're actually not sitting behind a computer. Although it may be physical and you say you don't have time, everyone has time in the end at the end of the day, right? But talking to other people, networking is extremely fun. Just talking to people in general, yeah.
Awesome,
So that's what makes this business quite fun, in my
awesome,
opinion.
awesome. All right, Dominic, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. So, thank you very much for your time, man. And yeah, as I said before, off what I was kind of saying, I'm very keen for your journey. Keen for our future calls and optimizing your portfolio even further and kind of verifying and seeing your next few deals. I'm very excited. And yeah, thank you for also attending every single coaching call every Sunday. So
Yes,
appreciate it. I always see you in there. And, you see the students doing well, that the ones that come to the coaching call. So props to you, but I'll leave it there. I won't take up too much of your time. Maybe you can go to some inspections now, pick up some deals.
definitely.
All right, Dom. I'll talk to you soon.